welcome back to my channel. My name is Shelby and today I'm going to be doing some romance recommendations. The trope I'm going to be talking about today is one of my favorites, and that is friends to lovers. I love both adult friends to lovers as well as childhood friends to lovers where the couple has been friends a really long time. I have done this video before a couple of years ago, so I will link that video down below so you can watch it for yourself. But these are 5 newer recommendations, or at least newer to me. As always, I will link all of these down below, and let's get right into it. The first one is Tie Me Down by Melanie Harlow, and our two main characters are Maddie and Beckett, who are childhood best friends. They kind of drifted apart as they became adults, but they always kept in touch and were on good terms. Maddie got married, she had a son, and now she is divorced. Beckett became really successful outside of their small town, but he moved back to take care of his father, who has dementia. And as it turns out, Maddie's mother has died, and she's trying to sell her childhood home and fix it up. And it's right across the street from Beckett's house, and he offers her and her son a place to stay while she's fixing it up because it isn't livable. And so there's forced proximity because she's living in the same home as him, and I love the shared history that they have. This one was rather emotional for me. I'm not sure if it's because it was the last book in the series. It can definitely be read as a standalone, but because it built off of the other stories in the series, I just felt really connected to it emotionally. Then we have Heartland by Serena Bowen. Our two main characters are Dylan and Chastity. Dylan is part of the Shipley family, and this series focuses on that family. They own an apple farm. The farm does other things as well, but that is one of their main things. And Dylan is going to college, and he's going to college with a girl named Chastity. And a couple years previously, Chastity escaped a cult, and she moved in with this couple who also have a farm in Vermont, and it is right next, I think, to the Shipley farm, and that's how she knows Dylan. So when they go to college together, they have previous history as friends, and he is always sleeping around with other girls and taking interest in everyone but her, and she always thinks that he's never going to be interested in her. And they end up starting this little side business together to make caramels, basically to use all the unused goat milk from the Shipley farm. So they're spending a lot of time together, working together, and Dylan starts to see Chastity in a new way. So I really enjoyed this one because it is a new adult romance, and I think all the other ones in the series are adult romances. So it kind of gave a fresh take to this family. And Chastity in particular has a rough past because of her childhood at the cult. This is one of those romances where I got really frustrated with the hero at times, but in all of the best ways, and I really recommend it. Then we have Manhattan by Candy Steiner, and this is a childhood friends to lovers romance between Kylie and Mikey, and they've been best friends their whole life. And in high school, Kylie has to stand by and watch Mikey date someone else. And at the end of high school, he gets dumped by his girlfriend, and he really wants to leave their small town, kind of start fresh. And Kylie thinks this is her chance to finally be with him, so she tells him to give her a summer to convince Mikey that there is much to love about their small town. And they end up doing all these really fun things together, and that's how they end up falling in love. And this one was very angsty, and like the previous book, I was really angry at Mikey at times, and I was wanting to smack him upside the head for his behavior, but I loved it so much. And if you have read anything by Candy Steiner in the past, you know her writing is really good, and she really captured my heart. Then we have Beneath the Stars by Emily McIntyre. This is about Alina and Chase, and when they were about middle school age, Chase moved 3 doors down from Alina, and she's a couple years younger than him, and he has a younger sister, so his younger sister and Alina became best friends. Him and his sister were living with their foster parents, and they soon adopted them. So he comes from a rougher past, and he has this special relationship with Alina, and they don't really tell anyone else. And he sneaks into her room a lot of nights and lays in her bed, and they have these really tender moments together. But as they get into, I think, high school, he's dating a lot, and he doesn't actually notice Alina as someone he wants to pursue romantically until someone takes interest in her, and then he wants to be with her. So they end up dating, and something tears them apart in college. And now it is years later, and it is their second chance romance. Chase has returned to their small town, and Alina is still there, and they end up having to work together. So it is the estranged childhood friends to lovers romance, along with like the second chance romance tied in. Again, this one is actually super angsty, and I really liked it. The last one that I have is Keeping Him by Kennedy Fox. This is about Jackson and Kira, and they have been childhood friends since they were younger, and now they're in their 30s, I believe. And Jackson has always denied his feelings for Kira because he felt like he wasn't good enough for her. So he kind of took the choice away from her. Instead of letting her decide if he is good enough for her, he just kind of made that decision for her to protect himself. Instead, he's become a super big playboy. He sleeps with like everyone, and it always pisses Kira off, and she's been waiting for him and waiting for him for years to come to his senses, and he hasn't. So she moves on and decides to get married to someone else, and it isn't until like the night before her wedding that Jackson comes to his senses and tells her how he feels. And that is kind of how their romance goes. It is full of drama, and another one of those heroes that you'll be really frustrated with, but in all of the best ways. I really loved this one. So those are some friends to lovers romances I have to recommend for you guys. I'd love to hear some of your favorite friends to lovers romances. As always, I'll link all these books down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next one. Bye.